I used to suffer from hypothyroidism. It's a frustrating disease. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's the symptoms. It made my hair thin out, I gained weight, even when I was off my food. I got moody and occasionally depressed. Sometimes I was constipated. I was able to sleep a solid 10 hours and still wake up exhausted. I found it difficult to focus at work and struggled to really enjoy family and social life. My low moods and anxious thoughts created one or two relationship difficulties too. People tried to understand, but my condition wore them down. Even more frustrating was that doctors simply didn't believe there's anything wrong with me. After several discussions, my doctor looked at my thinning hair, accepted that my dry skin and aching limbs wasn't normal, but then put my fatigue and anxiety down to me being preoccupied with my thinning hair and aching limbs. He told me he couldn't find anything wrong with me. He advised I eat better, exercise more, and take up a hobby. When he did finally have my blood tested, hypothyroidism was diagnosed. I was put on a lifetime course of drugs. They had some positive effect, but they mostly reduced symptoms a little. They never got rid of them. So I was still tired an awful lot, but I could mostly keep my eyes open. My hair and skin still thinned and dried, but a little less, and so on. The meds became a problem. I developed some dosage problems, which is common with hypothyroidism meds. They're sensitive drugs. A bit too much or too little can have dramatic effects on a person's health. Even taking pills from a new batch can lead to adverse reactions. My doctor informed me that for many people, thyroid problems fluctuate over the course of the year, which, as I found out, means the dosage had to fluctuate too. I've never been keen to take drugs for illnesses. They're toxic, unnatural, and over time can cause as many problems as they solve. Yet here I was, stuck, basically. I wasn't getting better. The drug's downsides could hit me in between the eyes at any time, but I didn't know what else to do instead. Anyway, that's all done with now. I no longer have the disease, so I can look back on those days and smile. It's all over for me. I'm fully well. I do still recall it all, though, and I feel for others who are ill now in the ways I was then. My recovery is complete. It happened pretty quickly, about 4 weeks, give or take a few days. And that disease ain't coming back either. I'll explain why. Not everyone suffers hypothyroidism for life. About 18 months ago, a lady called Jodi was in front of me in a long line at the supermarket. While we waited to be served, we started talking. Long story short, Jodi knew all about hypothyroidism. She was a natural health practitioner and some years previously had helped a close friend who had it really bad get over the disease. Today, Jodi routinely treats hypothyroidism in hundreds of people. She gave me a link to some information about how she approaches the disease, and we chatted some more while we waited. What I eventually learned from Jodi about hypothyroidism was jaw-dropping, because I'm the kind of person who trusts doctors unquestioningly. If a doctor can't beat whatever you're suffering from, then it can't be beaten. Plain and simple. I realize that sounds dumb, but that's how I am. When I was finally free of hypothyroidism, I changed that view. I had to. Because the essence of the problem is this. Doctors tend to treat only the symptoms of hypothyroidism. They fully understand that an underactive thyroid isn't producing the hormones the body needs. They of course know that these hormones, known as T3 and T4, regulate metabolism, which means they directly affect how fast your heart beats, how deeply you breathe, your body temperature, cholesterol levels, and whether you'll gain weight or lose it. And doctors understand the effects of an underactive thyroid: weight gain, depression, poor skin and hair quality, disrupted menstrual cycles in women, aching joints, ongoing tiredness, and so on, because it doesn't cost anything to you. But I loved it. As my symptoms fell away, I just got happier and happier. Her solution is doing something intelligent here. It's not picking off individual symptoms with drugs. It's addressing the underlying problem at its cause, where it all began. We're reversing how we got hypothyroidism in the first place. We didn't get it with pharmaceutical drugs. We won't lose it with pharmaceutical drugs either. This approach has had fabulous results for hundreds of people who have completely reversed every single one of their symptoms. There's no reason why it will be any different for you. Click the link below to get started this afternoon. And remember, what we address changes, but what we ignore doesn't remain the same, it deteriorates. The long-term effects of fatigue, low moods, and anxiety are not pleasant. Family life suffers, friendships start to fall away, life just becomes so much less enjoyable. Hair and skin starts to suffer, even if you're not especially vain. Dry skin, marks, and thinning hair makes anyone self-conscious. I halted my own deterioration by stopping it in its tracks. I rid my body of the toxins that had started the whole thing off. When I did that, all those dominoes fell, and I was healthy once more. Take charge of your hypothyroidism before its grip on your life becomes total. Jodi's plan has worked for hundreds of people in your situation. If within 60 days of buying Jodi's solution, it hasn't delivered the results you want, you can have your money back. All you really have to lose is everything that's miserable about your hypothyroidism. I'd say that's well worth losing. Let's start now. Click below and you can have the hypothyroidism solution in your inbox